Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling video podcast I run over here on YouTube.com. And yes, we're actually kind of back at this point in time. I've been doing very little in the terms of GodSaw's Turnbuckle episodes recently, mainly because I really haven't been feeling fully up to it. It's just it's a personal thing with me at that time, and I wasn't really feeling all that great. I'm feeling up to it today, and we're definitely going to be doing everything on our traditional side and how we do things with GodSaw's Turnbuckle. We had done a few things in recent weeks where at least had been a pay-per-view review, at least some simulation matches from the Backlash the Backlash pay-per-view using WWE 2K18, everything on that side. But we're going to try to get back into the flow of things, into the swing of things here with our traditional style podcast. So that's kind of where I've been over the last couple weeks. It's, it is what it is on that side of everything. But this week, woo, there's a lot going on. We're not just necessarily going through Raw, SmackDown, and NXT on this one. We're going to be going through a few different things on this side of it. First of all, let's go ahead and start this off this week with, let's go ahead and start off this week with pretty much the news that was going on. And there was a lot of news that was going down. A couple really big things, a couple little small things here. Everything on that side. So let's rock it into this. So first thing we're going to go on about, and you probably recognize that I'm at least wearing a Bullet Club shirt at this point in time. I don't know how much is really showing on camera at this moment, but the reason why I'm wearing that Bullet Club shirt is one of those bits of this week, the tickets for All Sale, or for not All Sale, but All In went on sale. And they sold out within 30 minutes. That's the crazy thing right there. Not only the fact that they sold out within a day, they sold out within 30 minutes of being put on sale. I personally didn't get one myself. I was at work when they went on sale during that time frame. So, it is what it is. I won't be going to Chicago to see the event. Hopefully they do something with a stream or something on that side. But this one's really big on the side of Cody, the Young Bucks, everybody who's kind of financially doing this all-in show in Chicago. They have a podcast, wrestling's podcast style convention going on called Starcast that same weekend. So you're going to have that going on. You're going to have the All-In event, and they really only have one match announced at this point in time still, even though it's been a few days since the sellout of those tickets. You have Cody going up against Nick Adonis, formerly known as Magnus from TNA and Impact Wrestling days, if you remember that, going up against him for the NWA World Heavyweight title. So you're going to have that match on there. People that have also, of course, been announced, you have people such as the Young Bucks on there. Of course, they're on there. They're part of, of the whole financing and everything on that side for you, for the particular show. But you also have people like Kenny Omega. Okada is going to be there. You got tons of others that are already saying that they're going to be on the show to go along with it. I forget some of the other names, but some of the bigger names. I believe Rey Mysterio, even Rey Mysterio said he's going to be part of that show in some way, shape, or form. So they're going to have a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of speculation going on about this show, the matches for the show itself. Is it going to be a stream show? I mean, this is one of those shows that it's run by the essentially run by the wrestlers on this one, and more than likely it's going to be a one-time thing for the year. It won't be something that's like, oh, we're going to start doing this weekly and we can do this and no, that's not going to be the case in this one. I don't think. I think we will see another show with the factor of this one selling out so quickly and within that 30-minute time frame. which means I feel like we will see another show, but we won't see it until next year at that point in time. At least that's how I feel it's going to be in the outgoing. But you have, like I said, it's an independently run show, not being supported full. I won't say it's not being supported in some way. It's obviously being supported some way by places like Ring of Honor and New Japan. They're allowing these guys to, come in and do the one-off show. But in the terms of financing it, it is being done by the wrestlers, such as, the Young Bucks, Cody. They're financing this show. They rented out the arena. The tickets are being sold. The tickets have been sold. They're paying the guys to come and perform on the show. So it's one of those things that's crazy that a show of that size that they're going for, which kind of started off as a bet between Dave Meltzer and the Young Bucks that they couldn't sell out a 10,000 seat arena. Well, lo and behold, they did it. And it's kind of crazy. It's even been thrown out there that, this is the first non-WWE event in North America to draw that many people since the days of WCW. Since the days of WCW, there's not been an event, a wrestling event, that has drawn that many people in the United States since that time frame. That wasn't the WWE at that juncture in time. So not Ring of Honor has never done it. Plenty of the other ones have not done it. ECW didn't do it. WCW way back towards their end of the days didn't do it. What's up? We've got someone in the chat. How you doing? How you doing? I believe his name is Savage. So how you doing? Welcome over here to GodSaw's Turnbuckle for this one as we continue going on with this All In talk. It's crazy to think that. It's just crazy to think that, we haven't seen that in so long. That wasn't a WWE event. It's really nice. It's really nice to see, and congratulations to those guys. It'll be one of those things. Can they do it again down the road? That's what I'm thinking. It's like, are they going to do it again? And will they be able to sell that many tickets again? But I think the show, I think it's great that they were able to sell it out so quickly. I'm hoping that there's some kind of streaming service for this one, whether it be some kind of Twitch thing or if it's some kind of, iPay-per-view. Hello? Is my voice not coming through? I'm actually asking at this point in time, is my voice not coming through? I'm pretty certain it is. Let me see. Yeah, it's coming through. I had to check that real quick. I had to check that one again real quick. I was checking it beforehand, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Are we doing good on bitrate? Yeah, we're doing good on bitrate and everything. All right, I had to go over to a little bit of a check here because he said in the chat that he was. I guess he wasn't hearing me. I don't know. Not 100% certain. Not 100% certain on that one. Let me get a little bit closer to the microphone and see what happens there. So yeah. Oh, he lost connection. Okay. No worries. No worries. We play along with everything here as we do the episodes. And, I'm doing these live. For people who are watching later, I do them live when I do my episodes of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. And so I try to interact with my chat as much as I can. If I'm not getting too enthralled into what I'm talking about at that time. So I saw that and went with it. So let's go into the next piece of news, and we're gonna gloss over this one really quick, honestly. So many months ago, I had talked about the stuff with Enzo Amore, what the allegations were, and everything on that side for him of potentially sexually assaulting, raping a woman. He had been accused of this. Keyword accused. Hadn't been found guilty. There was no, evidence really hadn't been out there, but he had been accused of these things. So, it's pretty much been kind of not really talked about much because not many people really want to talk about things like this. In all fairness, and like I said, we're not gonna stay very long into this one either. But especially since it happened in the area I live in. I live in the Tempe, Arizona, very close to Phoenix. So this has kind of been something you could follow around here if you really wanted to. But earlier this week, I forget which day it was exactly. Basically, a tweet was released by Enzo and then also subsequent by the Phoenix police to go along with it, that Enzo is basically not being charged with anything. They said that there is insignificant evidence that would prove him to be guilty of this, that it was not going to go any further, that the case was closed in this situation on that side of everything. That's one of those things, like I said, yeah, it's back when I originally talked about it. The acts that were quote unquote being said by the accuser were extremely heinous and everything on that side, but we had to wait till proof came out to kind of make judgments on Enzo at that time. And, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, they're saying that there's not enough evidence. That's one of those bits that's kind of saying there wasn't enough evidence to really charge, but we also think you might be guilty of this, but we can't really prove it. That's what they're kind of saying, in all fairness. That's what I get. But in this case, you know, it's come out that there's not enough evidence, or either the accusers lost credibility, anything on that side, which has definitely been a potential case inside of this one. So, like I said, it's always been one of those things you hold your judgments until all the evidence and everything came out. He is now not being formally charged with anything. He's kind of, you know, proven innocent in this sense of everything. And it'll be interesting to see what Enzo ends up doing down the line. More than likely, we won't see him back in WWE. I don't think, based off of how he was perceived backstage, not just because of said incident, but beforehand, more than likely he might not be welcome back. Will he do a wrestling thing? Will he do another entertainment thing? But it might be a little bit hard for him to do any of those things like that at this time, because that stigma is always going to be there. That stigma for him is always going to be there because of these accusations that have been put in front of him. Even if it is proven that he is innocent or not being charged or anything like that, that stigma is always going to be there. So it might be a little bit hard for him to do anything in the terms of wrestling or in the terms of entertainment down the line. But we'll see what ends up happening. And honestly, I don't really care too much. I don't really care too much on Enzo's side. So in the terms of his entertainment value on that side, we'll clarify that. It's more on his entertainment side that I was not really all that caring about. And yeah. well, thank you, Savage. Thank you for those words. I like that. Thank you. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. And basically in this case, since he's, you know, essentially proven innocent in this one, all you can really do is wish the best for the guy. You know, yeah, he's kind of come off as, like, in the terms of his interviews and how apparently he was perceived backstage. I've never met the guy, so I don't know how he is on that side of everything. He's always come off as not the highest viewed type of person in the terms of being a person. But all you can really do is wish him the best on this one, since, you know, like I said, I don't know the guy personally, so I'm not going to judge him in this sense of everything. And you just hope for the best for what he can do. It seems like this is going to go past, unless like some new evidence comes up or something like that. They did. I think the Phoenix police did say something like that. Is like the case could be reopened if new evidence comes to light. Everything on that side. but it seems to be going past them at this point, and yeah, there it is. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on that one today because of just based on how the actions were and like how everything was on that side of everything. I don't want to spend too much time there. So, another piece of news. So a couple of weeks ago, when they started doing these Money in the Bank promos, when you saw a bunch of people doing iPhone promos and everything on that side for the Money in the Bank ladder matches, you started seeing tag teams doing it. And it was leading to believe that there was going to be a third Money in the Bank ladder match involving the tag teams. Well, apparently that's not going to happen now. Or apparently it might not have actually been in the works. I don't know. Maybe it was something that was talked about. They kind of teased it a little bit to kind of see where everything was going. And it was like, yeah, let's not overdo this at this point in time. So for the time being, and don't get me wrong, there's still like another 4 weeks away from Money in the Bank's pay-per-view. So for all we know, they could just be holding off the announcement until they've got the men's and the women's Money in the Banks lined up at that point in time. So it could be something like that, but it's looking like the potential for a tag team Money in the Bank ladder match is being scrapped at this point in time, at least based off of rumors or anything. That could just be rumor that they're scrapping it, or maybe they're just holding off on it because they've still got 4 weeks to build to Money in the Bank. Or, like I said, there's 4 weeks left of Money in the Bank, and maybe they want to put more focus on the aspects of the other 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches that are going to have with the men's Money in the Bank match that are going to have 8 men in there. Then you have the women's Money in the Bank match that are going to have 8 women in there. So we'll see where everything kind of goes off on that one, and we'll see if anything does come out of it. And if they decide to add a third Money in the Bank ladder match, it would probably have to be done probably this week to kind of announce it. And last piece of news, this is going to be the interesting piece of news here, before we go into the Raw and SmackDown and NXT portions of the show and going through everything. So a lot of things went down this week with WWE in the terms of their terms of potential TV deals, and I know we're going to be talking TV deals here. Potential TV deals, potential of where WWE Raw is and SmackDown are going to be landing and everything on that side. And also the stock price, which I have an interesting tidbit on the whole thing with the WWE stock price of what's going on. Because I have followed, I don't own WWE stock, but I've at least followed it to a certain degree. And I've noticed a little trend, and it's at its all-time high again. And it was at its all-time high back in 2014, and then something happened and it made a dip again, and now it's risen back up. So, as you know, NBC had, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in the show as well, they had a kind of a meetup with the TV shows with NBC. I forget what the exact event was called at this time. I know I should probably do a little bit better research on that one, but because they announced a match at it too. And WWE kind of met up with all the other TV shows that are going to be part of NBC, everything on that side, and they're going to basically, it seems like Raw and SmackDown are now going to be separate again. So SmackDown's been under the NBC umbrella for a while now. So when NXT went off of TV on Sci-Fi a long time ago, it was the WWE ECW, and then it was NXT, the original version of NXT, that reality show base. And then SmackDown went over to Sci-Fi. So SmackDown's been under the umbrella of the NBC networks for quite a while now. It used to be on UPN and CW, and I think somewhere else as well. I forget where else at that time, but it was at another on another network at some point in time as well, I believe. And then it went over to Sci-Fi, and then when the draft happened, when they did the brand split again, it went over to USA. So, like I said, it's been under that umbrella for quite a while. But it looks like SmackDown is now not going to be under the NBC umbrella. Apparently, NBC is going to be purchasing the TV rights to Monday Night Raw, which apparently is going to be 3 times, or the rumored, by the way. We don't know until the actual contract is put out there. But it's rumored it's going to be worth 3 times as much as the previous Monday Night Raw contract, which is going to be really big for that company, which is going to be really big for WWE side. So, what has been, what does this kind of mean? Well, it could mean, well, 1 means more money coming in, but 2, it means where's SmackDown going? Are they just going to go to Raw and cancel off SmackDown, or are they going to shop out Monday Night Raw, or not Monday Night Raw, but the Tuesday Night SmackDown, the SmackDown Live show, off to another network, which could be rumored to be Fox, which would be interesting to see if Fox picked up SmackDown and it was on network television, not like a Fox Sports 1 or something like that. It would definitely be interesting to see where everything goes on that one down the line. But apparently SmackDown might be moving networks where Raw is going to stay the same in 2019, which guess what that means? Since it's going to be 3 times as much, which means we're still going to get 3-hour Raws. We're not going to get 2-hour Raws anytime soon on that side. So with news of this coming out with NBC at the NBC event and to shareholders and everything, WWE stock is at an all-time high. It ended out at like $51 and something cents a share over the as of Friday, which is for WWE stock extremely high. That's extremely high. Like I said, it's an all-time high. Now, WWE did hit an all-time high 4 years ago. about 4 years ago when they announced the WWE Network. When they announced the WWE Network and that they were going to be they'll be signing a new TV deal with NBC, everything on that side, the stock price shot up into the 30s. It had always been down there at that below 10 or 12 or something in that side, and then it shot up into the 30s. And then the first financial reports came out after that time with the WWE Network on there. It was under 1 million subscribers at that time. Then the new TV deal came in, and it wasn't what people were expecting, shareholders were expecting, and the stock price dropped back down to like 15, 17, kind of stayed there for a while, and now it's been going up again at this point in time. So it will be interesting to see, based off of the news that WWE is putting out there, the stock price is going way high. Now, what happens when next financial reports and everything come out, and when the TV deal is signed, either with NBC, Fox, or however it's going to end up going at that moment, will be interesting to see where that stock price goes to later on down the road. But there's a little bit of a thing to show for you from about 4 years ago when it shot up into the 30s, and then it went back down. We'll see if that ends up happening again in this case. It'll be an interesting one to see, and it'll be an interesting one to watch if you're interested in things like that. I am interested in the stock market, everything on that side. I've always been interested in it. It's one of those things. So that's pretty much all the news for this week. So let's rock this into the shows that I was able to watch this week, which was Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and NXT this week. Honestly, in the terms of WWE shows, I thought we had a pretty good week. I usually stay on the positive side of many things and I don't necessarily give horrible reviews when it comes down to it. Or at least in the terms of like shooting everything down. I try to remain as positive as possible. Obviously, saying when something's bad when it's bad on that side of everything. This week's Monday Night Raw, just for reference, I have not been, in the terms of anything outside of WWE, I haven't had a lot of time to really watch a lot of the other stuff. The next show that I'm aiming to watch is Dominion, which I don't know is going to be I don't know if that's actually going to be the case or not at that point in time. So we'll see what ends up happening at that moment. And at that moment in time, I'm trying to hopefully watch Dominion. I want to watch that Kenny Omega Okada match as well. Also Naito versus Jericho. I want to watch that one. But most of the time, I really have mainly time for WWE. I'm trying to add other stuff in there as well. So we had Raw that was from the O2 in England on May 14th, 2018. This Raw started off with Roman Reigns coming out, basically saying that he, he's playing this whole aspect of being screwed, everything on that side, and all of that fun. He's being screwed by management, everything on that side, which of course is giving him not cheers but boos because he's basically going out there and just kind of crying about it. Really, that's been the one thing that you really have about the whole difference between Roman going against authority and someone like Austin going against authority. Austin basically would walk out there, maybe say a few words, and then beat up somebody. And Roman goes out there without anyone out there, kind of cries about it a little bit, and basically does something about it, but not much. So Roman goes out there, he kind of he calls out Jinder Mahal for what he had done last week. Angle comes out, basically says Jinder's not coming out there because he has to get ready for his match tonight. He is going to be in a triple threat match for a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank. And he uses lines like "best for business," everything on that side, so it's making him feel like, oh, this is from management. Roman basically said and like that, and basically said that Roman wasn't going to get any more opportunities or anything on that side, because Roman does say, he's like, okay, well, make it a fatal four-way. Give me another chance. And Angle says, no, management says you get no more opportunities. And of course, Roman basically says, okay, I get it. You got to do what you got to do. Now I've got to go do what I've got to go do. So he basically goes backstage. He finds Jinder Mahal. This starts a big brawl backstage. Jinder does hold his own for a little while on this one, but eventually Roman takes control. They fight out to the stage area. He hits him with a Superman punch, and basically that was it at that point in time. So because he gets stopped by officials after that one on that side of everything, so it came off as decent segment. It was a decent segment, but it really didn't do anything to really make you feel sympathetic towards Roman in any way, because it made it feel like he came out there initially and started complaining about it. That's the main thing. Like, I even say it a lot. I don't hate Roman. I don't hate I don't hate him. I think he's actually pretty good in the ring. He's getting better on the microphone, but his character really isn't resonating. It doesn't really, it's not working. We'll leave it at that. It's not working on that side of everything. He doesn't really have a character that's working at this point, which is the main problem. At least I feel like it's the main problem. All I am is a fan, though. That's it on that side of everything. But, yeah. So we did get a couple more segments, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, with Roman and Jinder Mahal and the whole thing. So it looks like we're going to have a Roman Reigns Jinder Mahal feud coming up here very soon. Could be interesting. Could be an interesting one. We'll see how it ends out going off. So you had the first match of the night, which was Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title. All you can really say is this was a really, really, really good match. Really good TV match. Never really went as far as saying, oh, this is going to be an excellent pay-per-view match. It was just a really good television match. The spot with the Falcon's arrow on the apron was sick looking. And the two of them put on a really good match for TV on this one for the Intercontinental title, starting off the show, in which you kind of thought that maybe this would be the main event of the night, but it ended up not being the main event of the night, and you'll find out why a little bit later. But overall, very good match, very enjoyable match from the two of them. Seth Rollins going over with a stomp to Kevin Owens. Like I said, not much more you can really say other than really, really good. Up next, you had footage from that NBC event, which this was kind of interesting, which basically had, because they had, people they had over there was Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax, and Charlotte. So you had Ronda, they have Ronda kind of talking about everything. Nia Jax comes up basically in this weird way of challenging Ronda Rousey. It's like, oh yeah, you can do things like that, but can you be this? And just holds up the title. And I like how Ronda was actually like, be what? Be champion. Oh, she had to actually explain it to Ronda. It's like, oh, it's like, you should have just said, you know, can you win the championship? It basically ends out challenging her. So Ronda actually tries to play the baby face for this one. It's like, well, I've only had my one match so far, and I feel like there should be other people. And Nia goes like, like in the background, you just after Nia goes off, it's like, well, I'm not challenging them, I'm challenging you because I have a match at Money in the Bank, and I want you. You just hear Charlotte in the background. It's like, do it, do it, do it. It's like, okay. And then they kind of just walk off. It was a weird looking segment. And it sets up for a Nia Jax Ronda Rousey match at Money in the Bank, which will be interesting. You know, it'll be Ronda's first televised one-on-one match. So that's going to be interesting enough right there. We're finally going to get to see that on that side of everything. And it'll just be interesting to see what they're going to do. There's rumorville going around that maybe they're turning Nia back heel again, to be maybe Stephanie McMahon's proxy or something on that side. They're going to really go with this whole, you know, Ronda against the authority figure type thing, if that's what they're really going to be going with. So we'll see how they end up going on that side of everything. But this segment alone was extremely weird and extremely awkward, which was made even better by the fact that you had Charlotte in the background egging on Ronda to just like, do it, do it, do it, do it. It was that part was really good. I did like that at least, but otherwise very weird. Up next, you had Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas backstage in Kurt's office, and they were sitting there. It's like that they needed to come up with a new team name and everything, and they were going to call themselves the A-Team. It's like you just saw Kurt's like, you can't use that. There's a TV show and a movie with a movie reboot to it. You can't use that name. It's already trademarked. You can't use that. It's like, oh, then we'll call ourselves the B-Team. And Kurt's like, that is absolutely the dumbest idea I've ever heard, or the dumbest name I've ever heard before. Is like, but B stands, and then you have Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas like, B stands for best. It's like, okay. And they make a tag match, and it's like they ask for a tag team title match, and it's like, but you guys haven't won ever, or at least in an extremely long time. It's like, yeah, but the B team is undefeated. And then he puts them in a tag match, not for the tag titles, just in a tag match later. This was a good segment. I liked it. It was very enjoyable. We can definitely see where they're going to be going with this one down the line. Somewhere down the line here. Up next, we had a Money in the Bank qualifying match with Baron Corbin, No Way Jose, and Bobby Roode. This was a pretty good match. It was a pretty good match with some good sequences. It finishes with Bobby Roode hitting the glorious DDT on No Way Jose and picking up the victory and going on to Money in the Bank. Like I said, pretty good match. nothing really to write home, really much to write home to about. You have a little bit more continuation with this whole No Way Jose Baron Corbin thing. And Bobby Roode is going into Money in the Bank. So, kind of is what it is at that point. Kurt is backstage. He's going to the trainer's room to check on Jinder Mahal. He gets interrupted by Kevin Owens, and he's wanting another shot at the Intercontinental title because he felt like he got screwed out of there. It's like, Kurt says no, and it's like, and what are you going to do about it at the moment? It's like, oh, I'll call Steph. It's like, okay. And it's like, and it's not going to be a threat. It's going to become reality as he pulls out his phone and walks off. He goes in, he's checking on Jinder Mahal. Mahal wants the match to get postponed, but Kurt says, no, the match has to happen tonight. Since we've announced it, it has to happen. So if you want to be in it, you're going to have to fight through the pain. And Jinder Mahal, valiant babyface, is like, okay, I'll fight through this adversity, and I'll be out there in the match, in that match and everything on that side. I was like, oh, he's playing babyface. Okay. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, he was kind of babyface-ish in this one. Not gonna lie to you on that side, because he's like, oh, I'm gonna fight through the pain, and I will be in that match, and I will still fight in that match to go along with it. Up next, we had the B team going up against Breezango, and B team wins. The B team wins their first match as being known as the B team. And by the way, they have t-shirts with like a Sharpie B on them to go along with it. We saw later in another match that that had Woken, Matt Hardy, and Bray Wyatt in there, that they were taking notes and they had clipboards that just had B on the back. It was good stuff. This was good stuff. Not gonna lie to you, I enjoyed it. Decent enough match. B team does go over with a back body drop neck breaker combo to Tyler Breeze, and yeah, it looks like the B team is going to be going somewhere, at least for the time being. Let's see how long that lasts. Up next, we had 6-woman tag team match with Sasha Banks, Natalya, and Ember Moon going up against the Riot Squad. Again, decent enough match here. Nothing crazy to write home about. Outside the fact that, you know, it seemed like maybe they were going somewhere with the Riot Squad, but now it seems like they're toning it back again. So they had Ruby Riot get a couple wins over Sasha and Bayley a couple weeks ago. Now they've lost a couple matches in a row again. And they do here as well. So Sasha Banks, Natalya, and Ember Moon go over. Liv Morgan taps out to the sharpshooter. Again, not too much to really write home about on this one. There's not much in terms of story to that. It was just kind of a match that was there. Up next, we had a promo because it was announced early in the evening that Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre were going to have a tag team match against Braun Strowman and Finn Balor. Interesting tag team. Kind of random on that side of everything. But it comes off a little bit... it comes off as a pretty good match later in the show. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. They cut a promo on that match a little bit later in the night. McIntyre, again, it's right here under my lip. McIntyre, you know, still talking about how, you know, everyone else is complacent, everything on that side, and that no one really has the fire that he has. I am enjoying the work that the two of them have been doing so far as a tag team. Yes, it kind of felt random initially, but they seem to make it work, and it's coming off pretty good. And you kind of see a different fire under Dolph Ziggler at this point in time. It's just not like one of those, oh, I'm just here. No, it seems like he's actually into it. And like I said, very good promo. I liked I'm liking where they're going with Drew McIntyre right now. Hopefully this does eventually lead into, you know, McIntyre becoming his own entity at some point in time, and away from Dolph Ziggler. He's not just going to be stuck on a tag team for too terribly long. Up next, we had the Revival going up against Woken, Matt Hardy, and Bray Wyatt. Again, this was a decent enough match. I'm liking where they're going with the Wyatts and Hardy thing right now. They seem to the thing is, like, even though these are makeshift tag teams that they've been coming up with, they're coming up with tag team maneuvers and everything and making it feel like it's like, yeah, they should be a team, including with the finish now the finish with Woken Matt and Bray Wyatt. They had tried the wheelbarrow twist of fate, kind of went weird, but they're doing like a kind of double Sister Abigail or double flatliner as a finisher now, and that one looks pretty good. And Wyatt and Hardy go over in this one. Again, thought it was a decent enough match. Kind of sad that the Revival aren't, being treated better at this point, but I guess you never know. I mean, I guess you got to give it a little bit more time. It hasn't been too long since they've been back from injury on that one, so maybe they're just kind of waiting things out and seeing what is going on with that one still. I don't know, but it seems like they are kind of burying the Revival to the back burner at this point in time, which kind of sucks. Up next, you had a quick backstage segment as Bayley was going to the ring. She gets an interaction with Sasha Banks. It seems like they're being friendly again. Sasha wishes her good luck. Bayley smiles, walks off. Not much to it, but probably going to lead into something that is, if they're going to be pulling anything off with that storyline at all, something down the line with that one. And this is just like a little interaction. It's like, oh, they've been fighting. Now they're becoming friendly again. And then does that lead to the turn at that point in time? Basically where I think that's kind of going. Whomever ends out turning heel. And that was supposed to lead into next, which was going to be a women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. But before that, we had Sami Zayn come out to the in the ring, basically starting to explain what Vertigo is and everything on that side. And it's like, this is why I wasn't at the Greatest Royal Rumble, even though there was other reasons for that to go along with it. And he blames also all of his losses on Bobby Lashley. For everything that he had been, that case of Vertigo and like the other losses he had over the last couple weeks. Good stuff. I liked how Sami Zayn pulled this off. I don't think too many other people could have, because the content he was given was out there. We'll leave it at that. And just his interactions and his way of pulling things off, I thought was really good. And he says that, in finishing it off, that he said that, yeah, he did the sit-down interview talking about his sisters. Like, nah, he was lying about all that. I reached out to his sisters, and they had some interesting stories, and we're going to bring them next week to Monday Night Raw. This segment has no middle ground. This segment with the Sami Zayn and those sisters, and whatever they do for Bobby Lashley's sisters, is not going to have any middle ground. We'll put it at that right now. I think a few others have said that there's no middle ground to this one. It's either going to be absolutely amazing or an absolute train wreck. I guess there is one middle ground, that it could be an amazing train wreck to go along with it. Maybe that's the middle ground. I don't know. Or I think either way, this is going to be a train wreck in some kind of way. It's either going to be amazing or really, really bad. I think that's where it really is going to go. But it's going to be a train wreck of a segment. And it'll be interesting to see how they pull that one off. Based off of certain other segments from last year, I'm not too high. What is it? I'm not too optimistic on this one. Mainly because they had made a train wreck segment last year with the whole Bayley This Is Your Life, and that was absolutely the worst segment of the year. With Alexa, that thing with Alexa Bliss, and then the Bayley This Is Your Life thing. Yeah, not too optimistic about it, but with Sami Zayn, it's going to be a train wreck. It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be really, really bad. And we'll see what ends out happening. We'll see what ends out happening on that one. So this leads up next to a Money in the Bank qualifying match with Mickie James, Alexa Bliss, and Bayley. I thought this was a pretty decent triple threat match. They played it off as Alexa Bliss and Mickie James kind of teaming up on Bayley for a little bit. Eventually that breaks down. was it Bailey hits the Bailey to belly on Alexa Bliss. Mickey James pulls her out, goes for the cover. Bailey pulls her out, goes back in, but gets caught with a forearm DDT. And Alexa Bliss picks up the victory and goes on to Money in the Bank. And like I said, it was a decent enough match. They're still playing this off as like one of Bailey's demons. I guess you play it off as like one of Bailey's demons is Alexa Bliss because she just can't beat her in a match in any way. So that kind of how that one goes. They did pull it. They didn't have it as a dirty finish or anything like that. It was just Alexa Bliss wins. That's how it went on that one. And up next, you had Jinder Mahal leaving the trainer's room saying, "It's like, okay, I've got to just fight through the pain." And they even had the trainers like, "Okay, this should protect you. All you need to do, if you can, is just fight through the pain, and you're clear to go." On that one, and he starts walking down the hallway, and then he walks by this. Well, all you can really say is very flimsily put wall. And he gets speared through it, which you could tell was almost like just painted over cardboard. It did not look like they made a real attempt at doing anything too heavy there. The spear looked cool, but the wall, going through the wall is like, yeah, okay, okay, nice try, nice try on that one. But basically taking Jinder Mahal out of the match. So now Kurt Angle has to find another replacement, which we kind of figure out before the main event goes on out there. Up next, you have Braun Strowman and Finn Balor going up against Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Again, I thought this was a pretty good match. It was a pretty decent match. It wasn't, again, nothing spectacular to really write home about. But pretty good match, entertaining. And one of the big highlights though of it was you had the greatest Royal Rumble trophy out there, and Braun Strowman goes to do his typical shoulder check outside the ring. He hits Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre goes flying. He goes head over heels and just grazes the greatest Royal Rumble trophy, and it falls over and breaks. It wasn't really it wasn't really said much by commentary or anything on that one, as Batman shows up into the chat cave. That's right, we call it the chat cave over here. I'm totally gonna roll with that. I'm gonna roll with that, Batman. On that one. Yeah, like I said, commentary didn't really glance over that all that much, so I don't feel like that was supposed to happen in any way. But it did happen, and you could really see it on the actual camera and everything on that side. I don't know if it was purposefully done to try to get rid of the trophy, or if it was just an accident and it wasn't really supposed to happen, but it happened, and it was definitely caught on camera. So it'll be interesting to see if we see that trophy again anytime soon. Up next, that was towards the end of the match. That basically actually caused a distraction outside, and Dolph Ziggler picks up the victory over Finn Balor because of that distraction, because Finn was on the top rope. And he gets he gets super kicked off and then basically rolled up, and that's how they pick up the victory on that one. Like I said, decent enough match. The thing with the trophy was definitely the highlight of it on that one. It, kind of was what it was on that side of everything. It was, again, building up Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre a little bit more on that side as a team. So, yes, yes, the chat cave. So, up next you had Kurt Angle on the phone. Found out that it was going to be, you find out that it was he was on the phone with Stephanie. He was like, and he had basically said, yeah, I found a new opponent, and he's going to be really good, everything on that side. Interesting to find out who that would have actually been down the line on that one. But but he gets interrupted by Stephanie. Is like, oh, and then all of a sudden you just hear Kurt go like, What, another opportunity? Okay. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and do it. It's like, I don't feel like he deserves another opportunity at it. And he even makes mention, it's like, I knew he was going to call you, but really? All right. And it was kind of hinting at Kevin Owens, which it ends out being Kevin Owens. So the triple threat match at the end of the show was Elias versus Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens, winner going into the Money in the Bank ladder match. This was a good match. Kevin Owens does interrupt Elias before he even gets to start the concert that he does at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of his matches, so we didn't get that at all. But Elias does try to do a concert mid-match, which I like how it's like, okay, he gets JoJo to bring the microphone and guitar over to him, and then he realizes Kevin Owens is coming after him. He counters that and basically still gains the advantage to go along with it. Eventually, Sami Zayn does come out in this match, and he starts attacking. He basically takes out Lashley as Kevin Owens picks up the victory, and ends up helping him pick up the victory in what I thought was a pretty good match. Again, a lot of these matches were actually pretty good, and we did get a couple of sets of Kevin Owens matches tonight, so yeah, not bad. Makes you feel that Kevin Owens is going to win Money in the Bank? Maybe. I have a couple people in mind right now, and I'll be doing predictions when Money in the Bank does come around. But I have a couple people in mind who I think are going to win Money in the Bank. On both the women's and men's side, and I've got people in my mind who would win from either Raw or SmackDown. And then I feel like SmackDown's going to win one of them, and then Raw's going to win the other one. So when I do my predictions, that's probably how I'll end up going at that point in time. But we'll see how everything goes off at this moment in time with all of that. With the Money in the Bank stuff. I'm not really I'm waiting until they have everybody in there to see where they're going to go with everything. So let's go into SmackDown Live for May 15th, 2018. Daniel Bryan comes out to start off the show. He has an interview with Renee Young. Daniel Bryan says, it's like, at first I was really happy to just be back. Now I want to be on top again. Yeah, I had my setback last week, but we're still working our way. We're going to scratch and claw our way back up to the top, and he's going to win the WWE title. Big Cass comes out. He starts running down for a long period of time of Daniel Bryan, basically like saying he's the reason why he's not going to be in Money in the Bank. That's like the beatdown that I gave you was the reason why you lost to Rusev, everything on that one. Well, yeah, you're probably right. We might have the same people picked. I don't know. I don't know on that one, but we'll see. We'll definitely see later. He basically, I did like this line. Big Cass's promo this week and his first promo back, I thought were really good. I thought this one was good. The one before Backlash was kind of, which also apparently got him in hot water for going too far in that segment as well. And he said the only reason why he tapped out so quickly at the Backlash pay-per-view was so he could get out of the hold and beat up Daniel Bryan some more. It was the only reason why he tapped out in the match. Okay, decent enough reasoning on that one. As Cass gets into the ring, I like this one. Was that Daniel Bryan during this entire time, you could just see the fury in his face. He was ready to go after Cass. And as soon as Cass steps into the ring, Daniel Bryan just rushes him and starts kicking him in the knee, beating him down. Like, this is an extensive beatdown of Big Cass. And he starts working over the leg. The refs have to pull him off. He looks like that was going to be the case, and then he runs back around and then slams Cass's knee into the ring post a couple of times, and then hooks in a heel hook in the ring while the refs were trying to get him away. And yeah, it was a pretty extensive beatdown, and a good way of going on that one as well. It made Daniel Bryan basically come off as he wanted vengeance for the beatdown at Backlash. He gets his vengeance right there, and it's probably going to lead to another match between the two of them. But also, he comes out there and doesn't really complain about his loss. he came out there and was like, yeah, we had a setback, but we're gonna, it's like, I had a setback. I don't like losing, but, you know, we're going to scratch and claw our way back up. Some good stuff there. I liked what they did there in this segment. I thought it came off really good. Up next, you had the Bar versus the New Day. The winning team gets to pick one person to be in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I guess, like I said, even more indication that we might not be getting a tag team Money in the Bank ladder match, which I guess I'm okay with because there's not really a reason to have 3 of them at this point in time. Though I think a tag team Money in the Bank contract would be interesting. I don't think having 3 different contracts out there is necessarily the best thing. They probably should just stick to the one for the men's and then the one for the women's at this point in time. I mean, they could still add that in there. Who knows? But again, these 2 teams put on really good matches. They put on a really good match here. New Day does go over with Xavier Woods doing his walkover diving elbow. You know, kind of a springboard type elbow off the top rope. They go over, and it basically is like which member is going to go in there. And they're kind of teasing it up, like commentary teasing it up is like, oh, how are they going to choose who's going to go in there? This is going to break up the New Day and everything on that side. And it's like, we'll see where it ends out going on that one. I kind of hope, to a certain degree, like, you have Kofi Kingston that has experience in those types of matches with multi-man ladder matches, in the terms of like Money in the Bank style ones. But you have Big E, who you could see getting like a very, you know, a big singles push at some point in time. But it's also interesting to note that Xavier Woods has been doing a lot more of the wrestling recently, with the New Day and everything on that side. So you could really see any of the 3 in there. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Big E inside of this match because it would be a kind of a change of pace when it comes to the terms of the New Day and having Money in the Bank matches and everything on that side. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up going into the match. I think it might be Big E going into it, but I wouldn't be shocked if they put Kofi Kingston into this match as well. Up next, you had a Bludgeon Brothers promo, basically on all the tag teams saying how family's weak and everything on that side. And it's just bludgeoning that is the way to go. They hit the camera with hammers and it's done. Decent enough promo. Nothing really to write home about. Up next, you had Paige in the back. She's apparently on the phone with Carmella, saying what she can and can't have for the Royal Melibration for later in the evening. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come in. They said it was like they're basically kind of gloating how, you know, Paige kind of tried to hold them down last week, didn't really work in their favor. And it's like, and Mandy Rose kind of says like, oh, now I'm going to be in Money in the Bank. It's like, that wasn't a qualifying match. Like, oh, well, she should get a qualifying. It's like, since she's like, I should get a qualifying match. It's like, yeah, both of you are going to have a qualifying match against Becky Lynch. Oh, and I like how they're initially thinking is like, oh, in a handicap match, I guess we're going to Money in the Bank. No, in a triple threat. Oh. And it's like, okay. So that's how they're kind of playing it off right now, is that, you know, Paige is trying to not, Paige is not trying to do the whole favoritism thing or anything on that side. And trying to break up Absolution and, well, what was left of Absolution to go along with it. Up next, you had a AJ Styles promo, an AJ Styles interview on his match with Nakamura for later in the evening, where you're going to get AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura tonight. Winner gets to pick the stipulation of their Money in the Bank match. I don't know how you guys feel on that one, but I've never been a big fan of that, where they have a match and a winner gets to pick a stipulation. It's like, why not just have the title match then at that point in time? But he cuts the promo on like a bunch of different styles of matches. No real pun intended to that one of using styles, but you know, having he would go over the top, and then I like how Renee Young adds a little bit into it. Is like, And he just looks at Renee. He's like, no, that's going too far with it. That was good stuff. Like, they're actually doing a lot of different things with Renee Young now that kind of give it a little bit of extra quirk or a different, you know, different vibe, different feel to it. I like where they go with it. I'm definitely liking where they're going with it. Up next, you had Andrade Cien Almas going up against Jake Constantino. As you would imagine, this was a squash match with Almas going over. It is his debut. Have basically put Almas over as much as possible in this one. And I like this one. Selena Vega gets on the microphone, cuts a promo after the match. And I like how she's like, all this build up in anticipation to coming to SmackDown, and this is what you give us? Is this guy? It's like she felt like in the terms of like Almas and her felt like it was like, this is an insult. You should be giving us a bigger name right off the bat. This is Andrade Cien Almas. Good stuff. I liked what they were doing with this one, and basically they said it's like, we're not here to basically fit in, we're here to take over. Kind of typical stuff on that one. I thought it came off really good in the terms of the promo after the match. Good stuff from Selena Vega. She's very good on the microphone. Up next, you had Rusev and Aiden English in the back. And they were coming up with new stuff, like a new song for Rusev Day. And Aiden was going to sing this new song. Lana comes in, kind of stops them. And like they're being friendly. Like initially the whole aspect was like Lana says, someone's holding you back. And they go over to Aiden English. Like kind of making it feel like are they going to get rid of Aiden English out of Rusev Day stuff and everything? But now they're being friendly after Rusev has won with, against Daniel Bryan and everything on that side. And she announces that she has a qualifying match next week against Billie Kay, and that they were going to be the first Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. You know, because, you know, they're married, everything on that side. So, decent enough segment. I thought it was pretty good. And it was a good way of announcing that Lana was going to be in a match for the Money in the Bank qualifying at that time. Up next, you had Carmella come out for her Royal Melibration. First of all, they were guardsmen. Those were Royal Guardsmen. They were not Beefeaters. I honestly, I don't know too much of what they were. I know those were Royal Guardsmen. I know that off the aspect of everything. But you had Corey Graves like, oh, they have Beefeaters and everything. I was like, no, those are Royal Guardsmen. I don't know why you did that. So she comes out and basically says, like she's gonna give everybody a chance to praise her. They all boo her, everything on that side. She starts running everybody down. This eventually brings out Paige, who, of course, being in England is gonna get, like, Paige is always gonna get a massive pop anyway in the terms of everything, but you know, being in England, even louder on that side of it. She comes out and says, you're going to have an opponent for Money in the Bank. I like how Carmella's like, I shouldn't be defending my title at Money in the Bank. I don't want to defend my title at Money in the Bank. It's like, no, you're going to defend your title at Money in the Bank against Asuka. And Asuka comes down. It's like, I like how they haven't destroyed the mystique of Asuka at this point in time. It's come off to a point that they are, it's like you announce that Asuka's coming out and like, Carmella flips out. Like, she's completely scared about this. And it came off pretty good. I liked the segment. I thought it came off as a rather good one. It didn't overstay its welcome. And like I said, I thought it was pretty good. Up next, you had a Nakamura interview on his match with AJ Styles. And I like how Renee Young was like the possibility in this. And Nakamura's like, chances, possibility. You're using the wrong words here. It's a certainty that I am going to win tonight, and then I'm going to pick a and I don't know about that one. I don't think they could have her losing twice that quickly in the terms of one-on-one matches. But I liked this whole aspect of Nakamura is like, no, it's a certainty I'm going to win, and I'm going to pick the stipulation. I'm beating AJ Styles tonight. thought it was a good segment. Thought it was a good interview. I liked what they were going with it. On that side of everything, like I said, set up for the main event later in the evening. Up next was Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville in a triple threat match to qualify for Money in the Bank. And, well, guess what? It was a pretty good match. I thought it was a pretty good match on all sides here. Becky Lynch going over in the end with a disarmor to Mandy Rose after Mandy Rose had done the running, hit the running knee on Sonya Deville. They did kind of the same thing that Mickie James and Alexa Bliss did on Monday. They teamed up, then they kind of turned on each other a little bit, everything on that side. But this time Becky Lynch was able to gain the advantage and pick up the victory, and she is going on to Money in the Bank. So, interesting one there. Up next, you had a promo from Samoa Joe, basically because it was announced that there was going to be another Money in the Bank qualifying match next week with him and Big Cass. He cuts a promo on Big Cass, saying, it's like, you know, yeah, you're big, you're tall, but I've dealt with people like you. You're going to just eventually cower, and I'm going to beat you, type of thing. And the only way Samoa Joe can do it in this menacing, like, intense style, and it came off really good. I thought it came off really good. And then you had the Iconics cut a promo on their Money in the Bank qualifying match. They used wordplay for everything. The Iconics, they're really good. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce were really good in NXT, and it's actually coming off really good here on the main roster. They're the, what's the words for this one? They're the right type of annoying. You can tell they come off as annoying, but they're the right type. Like, it's like, I want to just boo you. That's it. I don't want you to just not be on my TV screen. I want you to be booed, and I want you to do this. They're the right kind of annoying at this point in time, and that's a good thing to be saying for the Iconics at this point. They come off as, yes, annoying, but they come off as that right kind of annoying. It's like, no, we don't want you off our TV screen. We want you to actually get what's coming to you at that point in time. So, well played. Up next was the main event, which was Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, and the winner gets to pick a stipulation for Money in the Bank, and this has probably been their best match so far. Yeah, this has been the best match so far between the two of them. It's nothing overly great. It's a very good TV match on that side of everything, and I mean, we'll leave it at this. Like, their matches have progressively gotten better and better and better and better. So, yeah, the WrestleMania match, which was, now we've figured it out. It was like, oh, we're getting to know you in this feud style match, where we get the Nakamura heel turn, everything on that side. So I'm a lot better off with what WrestleMania was now, because it's one of those things like, oh, we get the Nakamura heel turn, we get a little bit more, we're going to get some more intensity down the line on everything. The Greatest Royal Rumble match was better, ends in double count out. I thought the Backlash match was also pretty good as well. Probably better than the Greatest Royal Rumble one. Ends in that double low blow. They can't actually get up before the 10 count. And now we have the SmackDown match, which, like I said, I thought was extremely good as well. I like the ending of it, where Nakamura, feigns getting hit below the belt, and AJ Styles has to explain to the ref, no, I didn't do that. This allows for Nakamura to pick up the victory, gain the advantage with the Exploder Suplex, hitting Kinshasa, and picking up the win. And there you go. Nakamura doesn't pick his stipulation yet, but really good match. I thought it came off pretty good. I thought this one came off really good. This has by far been their best. I'm hoping to see an even better one with Money in the Bank, and then hopefully, if they're doing another one after that, an even better one for SummerSlam, or something else down the line. Yeah, he was definitely due for a win at some point. But yeah, Nakamura picks up that victory. He's going to be going to pick the stipulation going into Money in the Bank. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to go with at this point in time. Up next, so that was all SmackDown. Both Raw and SmackDown I thought were pretty good shows. I did enjoy both of them. On that side of everything. So this leads us into NXT this week for May 16th, 2018. The show starts off with Johnny Gargano's music going off, and Tommaso Ciampa comes out. Good stuff. Good stuff. Ciampa cuts a promo on Gargano, taking him out. You know, yeah, he won the battle, but I'm the one still standing. I won the war. This does bring out Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae starts cutting a promo on Tommaso Ciampa. I like how Tommaso Ciampa started running down more of Johnny Gargano's, like, and even questions like, how did Candice see anything in him? And eventually it led to just Candice LeRae slapping the crap out of Tommaso Ciampa, and they both kind of split their ways, and they go from there. Good segment. I actually enjoyed that one. I like the whole aspect of Candice LeRae is like, I'm done trying to figure this out. I'm done with you trying to figure out what you are, what you've been doing and everything style. And of course, you know, Tommaso questioning Johnny Gargano's manhood and everything on that side, and eventually leading to Candice's slap of Ciampa. Pretty good stuff. You had Brandy Lauren going up against Lacey Evans. This was a very easy squash match for Lacey Evans. Evans basically, she was showing off some pretty good athletic maneuvers in this match. Did a moonsault off the second rope, really good looking, and wins with a punch to the face. She basically goes to leave. And this prompts Kairi Sane to come out and basically attack Lacey Evans for what she had done to Kairi Sane a couple of weeks ago with a sucker punch. Eventually, Lacey Evans does get away as Kairi was going after the Insane elbow, and basically Kairi does the bit where she gets the telescope and is like, I have you in my sights style bit at the end of the segment. Decent enough segment. Continuing on this Lacey Evans Kairi Sane thing. Up next you had a promo on from Aleister Black, basically on both Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. Basically, they're trying to build up this whole Ricochet Velveteen Dream thing. It's a pseudo #1 contendership match to find out who faces Aleister Black next. Aleister Black basically is like, doesn't matter which one it's going to be. I'm going to, one of those typical, kind of typical, but Aleister Black is like kind of going through both of them and how good each one is, but he's going to, of course, be ready for the challenge and everything. I like how he calls Velveteen Dream kind of his arch nemesis and everything on that side. Pretty good promo from him on that one, and kind of setting up for a little bit later with the match with Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. Up next after that, you had a Dakota Kai interview. So they're basically still playing this whole thing of Dakota Kai scared to death of Shayna Baszler. And so they're still trying to get answers from her and everything on that side of so she's doing like just subtle interview, and then you have Nikki Cross just dash in, and she has her phone, and like either she took the phone from somebody else or she has her own like iPhone, and she just gets up in Dakota Kai's face in this crazy insane way. It's like almost pseudo doing things crazily, but also being pseudo pep talk, because she's telling Dakota Kai, is like, so when are you gonna face your fear? When are you gonna face your fear? You need to face your fears. Yeah. And it's just like, it was great stuff. I like this one. So they're playing this all off as like, is Nikki Cross going to get Dakota Kai to face her fears of Shayna Baszler and everything to go along with that? It was like pseudo pep talk, but pseudo going, just Nikki Cross going crazy to go along with it. It was great stuff. I liked it, and it came off really good. Up next was Velveteen Dream going up against Ricochet. This one ended in a no contest. The match itself was up until the ending of it, I thought was a very good showing for what they can do. Initially, just as a little teaser of a one-on-one match between the two of them down the line. Lars Sullivan does come out in mid-match and take both of them out, leaving them both lying and basically, like I said, leaving it as a no contest on that side of everything. Like I said, pretty good. It was good. It was a good showing for what they were going with. It was kind of a good tease for what they needed to do. Up next, after this, was Real Mendoza going up against Kona Reeves. Again, this was a decent enough match. Kona Reeves does go over. They're playing this whole finest thing up, and fair play to them on this one. And if they keep this up, I think it's actually going to be something good. So, like, Kona Reeves is playing up. He has, like, finest jewelry, finest clothing, finest hair, everything on that side. Still don't fully see it with him, but, like, he had, like, a basic sport coat, like, one piece of jewelry from the last time around. This time around, he had more jewelry on. A different sport coat. It had, like, a little bit of fake fur or something like that on the back to go along with it. And they could have something here. It's like he's gaining money to get the finer things in life. So it would be crazy, like, of him winning matches. Like, every time he wins a match for a little while, he comes out with a different piece of jewelry, or maybe he comes out with another ring or something like that the next time around. If they keep adding on to it, I think they've got something there on that time. That was the little piece that I noticed. Is like, oh, he's wearing a new jacket and has new jewelry on. Okay. Now for in-ring, I don't, like, his style is kind of a aggressive style. I don't know. It doesn't say finest. We'll leave it at that. It doesn't really say finest. Well, of course, Kona Reeves goes over in this one. And we'll see where they go with this. If they, like I said, they keep adding stuff to it, I think it would be very interesting to see if they did do things like that, but we'll see where they go with it, type of thing. Up next, you had Ricochet outside of Regal's office. He was about to get interviewed. It's like, I'm going to go. They both are having issue with, or he has issue with Lawler Sullivan. He wants to talk with Regal. He's knocking on Regal's door. It's like, hey, Regal, I'm going to come in. And then Velveteen Dream comes in. And it's like, both of them are just kind of looking at each other. It's like, what are you doing here? I have an issue with Lawler Sullivan. I'm talking to Regal about it. Dream's like, well, me and you have the same issue right now. And I like how Ricochet opens the door for him and is like, you first. In just a kind manner, you first. And then both of them walk in. And then it was announced that there was going to be a handicap match next week with Lars Sullivan and Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. So, yeah, decent enough stuff there. Up next, you had a Heavy Machinery promo. This gets interrupted by, like, they're just talking about doing the whole... like how they like their steaks prepared and everything on this side, their training regimen and everything. This is interrupted by TM61. They run into TM61, and it's like TM61 is like trying to be buddy buddy. He's like, no, we don't like cheaters. And you just have Otis going off on this tangent, this weird tangent, and he basically was like, yeah, we'll fight you anytime, any place, anywhere, next week. It's just randomly next week, and then it is announced that they're going to have a match next week to go along with that. Interesting stuff. Up next, you had Danny Burch, the main event of the night, which was Danny Burch going up against Oney Lorcan and Pete Dunne. You had the team of them going up against the Undisputed Era. This was a really good match, and lo and behold, kind of shocked on this one. They had the Undisputed Era take a loss, and it was Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch's move. It was like a wheelbarrow DDT to pick up the victory. Good sequences in this one, really good stuff. I did thoroughly enjoy this match, and like I said, it was a little bit unexpected that they would have Undisputed Era take a loss, though, even though they could totally take a loss and still be, you know, their threat and everything on that side. I thought it was kind of unexpected. You did not expect them to have Undisputed Era lose a match at this point in time, but they did. And like I said, Danny Burch, O'Neal Orchid, and Pete Dunne go over in this match, which I thought was a really good match. And NXT overall, I thought was pretty good as a whole. So with that being said, that's pretty much everything in the terms of what I was able to watch this week. I'm looking to add some New Japan at some point again. Here down the line. I have a feeling I'm going to be watching Dominion at the least. I'm hoping to watch a little bit of the Best of Super Juniors at some point as well to go along with it. Maybe we talk about that a little bit down the line here. Maybe we get to watch the final at least on that side of everything. So we'll see how that ends out playing off. And yeah, that is pretty much everything I've got for you guys this week here on GodSaw's Turnbuckle. It's good to be back on the more traditional style one instead of kind of like our extra style stuff. So hopefully next week we come back with another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle for you. On that side, I got to kind of say hopefully. I do want to do one next week, but I don't know how I'm going to end up feeling at that point in time. It's always up in the air of how I'm feeling and where things are going and everything on that side. But I expect to be back next week with another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. I thank you guys for tuning in, who tuned in during the live stream. For people watching later, I hope you guys enjoyed everything. I hope everybody on the live stream enjoyed everything as well. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care. Peace out. Have a good one, everyone.